We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Hello and welcome to I Be Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Harvey. I'm Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver on this podcast. And just to catch you guys up, because today is going to be a pretty quick episode, we're going to follow up to our previous one where we talked about biosimilars.
Yes.
But today we want to talk about interchangeable biosimilars. So we're going to go more into depth on that. So it's just kind of a continuation. I know. We're so exciting.
It's a continuation.
And so I think it's the first day of fall.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely, this was like my idea.
Fall weather is definitely kicking in, thankfully.
And yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, we certainly,
Disney.
Mason's got Disney on.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, you're fine.
Yay.
I've got some kind of like plaid that I thought was like very fallish. I have no idea. And
I would wear that.
Yeah. That's
if it's plaid, it's fancy.
Yeah. We tried,
That's
guys.
the rule.
But yeah, I mean, it's a Sunday afternoon. Mason's catching up on schoolwork, and I am been putting rhinestones on heels for the past couple days.
You're gonna end up doing that for the next few weeks, probably.
My gosh, you guys. I don't know.
It's so painful. I don't know how she does it, but
I don't know how I do it either. I don't even know what I'm doing. I got this idea. I was overly confident that, I could do this and it shouldn't take too long. And I knew after like the first 5 of those.
Yeah, I'm sitting there watching her. She has to put down the glue and she goes, stick.
Yeah.
Stick. I don't know how she does.
I knew I had to be committed because once I started,
you can't undo it.
I can't. But we have some upcoming events. We have the Legacy Foundation dinner, and that's in less than a week. And we have the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation Gala, which is in October. And these shoes are like a white satin that just gets dirty. So I'm like, I'm going to cover them.
Brand new.
I did. They were brand new, and I had never worn them, and I have now tried to bedazzle.
Imagine just being a pair of shoes and, oh yeah, someone bought me. Oh no, they're trying to bedazzle me immediately.
I don't know. So we're going to see how it goes. And
unlucky.
One of the reasons why I think, so Mason, we thought, we don't know, he might be starting to flare. And so one of the ways that I guess, I handle things is to find projects to keep my mind busy. So it's not like I already have work. We have school, but I have these gaps to fill. And I think my way of coping is finding a project, and I certainly did that. So yeah.
So you're going to be busy for a long time.
I am. And
take a few more days.
Hopefully, yeah. But it's worked to keep me busy and keep me occupied. We had to cancel a vacation as well. So that was also tough. We had planned to go to the national parks, which we did a whole episode on the National Park Pass. And
I guess it's not happening
right now. And we really hope we'd be able to do it. And
there's always next year.
Yeah. Hopefully sooner.
Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that is not going to be happening. But the good news is you have the park pass.
And it just doesn't
expire. Yeah.
So that's nice.
So
we
that's
could go to a close. I don't think there's a national park close to where we live, but
yeah,
so a few hour drive or so.
And with Mason, when he starts to think, starts going to a flare, he lets us know right away with his symptoms, and we notify the doctors. So everyone's aware. Yeah, everyone's been notified. Mason is aware to keep track of everything. So after we basically let his doctors know, Mason keeps an eye on it. We keep an eye on it, and so we'll see. So far, very light symptoms, but we're always like on high alert because, with this disease, it can change very quickly.
Yeah, a roller coaster going up, and then you just have the free fall.
So hopefully
it
he goes in for an infusion in 2 days, which he's not thrilled about. but that may help.
Yeah,
so that might help.
The reason I not that excited about it last time, the infusion was very good. It was a very good infusion. But the time before that, I think they hit a nerve.
Oh yeah, I think we mentioned that. Yeah, he thought they did hit something, and so this time the nurse was very careful.
So that wasn't fun,
and went to a different spot. So
hopefully it's nerve free this time. Hopefully they're not getting on my nerves.
Right. So we told him, don't get on his nerves.
Don't get on my nerves.
Like literally. So that's kind of what's going on in our land.
Lives,
and yeah, and and we also never mentioned, we just we have this backdrop.
Oh yeah, it just popped up in one episode and we never talked about it.
Addressed it. It just so this, I don't really know what's going on with it. It's not really centered.
It's not centered.
Your name doesn't show up. My name and then so
there's my name.
But that's what we use for our shows. If we go anywhere, that's our banner. So so we have that going on too. So anyways, enough about what's going on. Just thought we want to catch you guys up, show you guys
speed.
Yeah, what's going on in our lives, and with all the regular stuff, school, work, all of that.
Fun.
Yeah. And so today we wanted to discuss a continuation of biosimilars, but talk about interchangeable biosimilars. And this is going to be a little bit of an education for you too, Mason. And I think for a lot of you listening, before we go into it, an interchangeable biosimilar sounds like it's an identical, right?
It's interchangeable. And I haven't learned about this much yet, actually. So I will learn from this. I've learned about biosimilars.
Right, which we did. The wording, though, is key. So biosimilar has similar in the word, which means it's similar, not the same. Interchangeable is like a way that they can't say identical, but
it's close enough.
You can change. So it's still
words a little bit.
But I think a lot of you out there, if you heard that, you got an interchangeable biosimilar. Oh, good. Okay,
that sounds like it's exactly the same,
right? And so you might think you got a different one, and not so much. So important to listen to this to learn what it is. And before we get started, something I wanted to add on to last week to finish up on the biosimilars and pediatric patients, because this was on the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation website. I have a note here, and it's, are biosimilars safe for pediatric IBD patients? And so you would think, okay, if they are biosimilars,
they're the same
process. But you have to remember, most biologics are not approved for use in pediatric patients. So biosimilars,
even the two I'm on are not
right.
Are not
right. And so important to note with this question, if you have any kids with this, teens, what does this mean for you? And so with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, what they say is that, which we've talked about before, pediatric patients are more severe. You have a more severe disease presentation.
And you can't use things like steroid. Yeah, you can't use a steroid. You can use them, but they're not ideal, because when someone's an adult, you can use it, and obviously it's going to affect some other things, but for the time being, the steroid is going to help. But when you're a kid, it also stunts growth.
Right.
And you need to grow as much as you can when you're a kid. So
it can affect your bones, bone development.
So your bone might not be as strong.
I think your adrenal glands, all sorts of things can be affected, and for kids. But what the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation said is that pediatric patients generally have a more severe disease presentation and poor prognosis. So they don't recommend necessarily the use of biosimilars in pediatric patients. And
so Colitis Foundation?
Yeah. And so they say the use of biosimilars and multiple switches should only be considered in pediatric patients who are in remission. And they don't specify what level of remission, but
just remission in general. I think
maybe the highest level.
That way you have a lot of ballroom.
Right. And so it says, if you receive, and this is just important for you guys listening, if you receive a notification from your insurance company about switching your child's current medication to a biosimilar, you should contact your child's healthcare team to discuss it further. So it's not to say that it can't happen, but their stance on it is that it shouldn't be considered any kids who are, not in remission, who are struggling. So things like that. So it's just interesting, because pediatric IBD patients don't have as much research. They just don't have as much, and it's not been studied with them like it has in the adult population. So anyways, So we discussed how biosimilars are not exact replicas or identical matches to the original biologic last week. And in catch up on that if you have more questions about that. We're not going to go into that on this one because we did that whole episode. So catch up on that previous episode from last week or 2 weeks ago, I should say, and catch up on that. And if you have any questions about biosimilars, it should answer them and help you understand them better. But there's another term that comes up, which is interchangeable biosimilars. And so what and I'm going to put up the links where we found this information too, so you can look it up. Yeah. There's multiple sites you can find this information on, but I'll provide our sources for you guys so you can see. So an interchangeable biosimilar is a biosimilar that meets additional requirements outlined by the law that allows for the FDA to approve biosimilar and interchangeable biosimilar medications. Okay, so that's the first part. So basically, FDA has approved both biosimilars and interchangeable biosimilars. But a interchangeable biosimilar may be substituted for the original product. So like say you're on Remicade and you get an interchangeable biosimilar. So your prescriber can substitute.
As I was going to say, insurance can use that as an excuse.
Yeah. So you don't have to get permission from your doctor to switch because it has been labeled interchangeable.
So I mean, it's like the same thing.
So that's what, according to a prescriber. So it's kind of like how you would get a generic prescription substituted for a brand name prescription if you have one. And they don't have to go to your doctor and say, oh, can we give them this instead? No, the prescriber, because they're allowed to, this is approved, they can switch it. It's commonly called, they said, pharmacy level substitution. And they are subject to state pharmacy laws. So an interchangeable biosimilar, it hasn't gone through, it just means it's gone through a few additional tests, a few more. From what I read, it doesn't mean that it is more of the same, like more close to it than a biosimilar. So it's not always the case. So interchangeable just means they've gone a few steps further in the FDA regulations to get that label.
They can be called that, yeah.
Right.
So they might not be any more similar than another biosimilar, but because they went through the extra tests, now they can be called
that. They get the interchangeable label, which
seems like a scam.
Well, it's beneficial to them because now they can get a prescriber to prescribe it. Because with the biosimilar, the doctor would have to be included in this conversation. And so now if you get that extra, you go through that extra testing, it might be worth it because now the prescription is going to be interchanged. So
would the provider or insurance, if they were thinking about switching someone from they're both real, but the true biologic to the interchangeable biosimilar, would they have to tell the patient that they're changing?
Just you would receive it, or they would notify you they're filling your prescription, and you would receive it.
So you wouldn't know that you're getting something different.
It's probably up to the prescriber if they notify you, but I don't believe they have to. So it's like when we've gone to some of your stuff you've taken has been generic that were not biologics. And when we go to pick it up, they don't tell us, hey, we're going to give you a generic. They just give it to you. You don't.
I feel like if there was something that was a little different about that, that didn't work for someone, I feel like that'd be very bad.
Yeah. It's
they should be able to warn you if they're doing that.
Yeah. So that's why it's important to know interchangeable versus biosimilar. It's just important to know it's basically the same kind of product. You're not getting something that is a whole different formula that is more identical because there's still a biosimilar. Yes. It's just interchangeable. It really just affects that prescription level. So what I did too, and I want to look these up so you guys know, and this is going to be a lot of fun because we have no idea how to pronounce these.
Oh, here we go.
So, I mean, this is,
If you like to watch people attempt to pronounce things, then this is the right podcast for you.
And some of you are going to be probably yelling at us going, we know how to do it because you probably pronounce like this. But what I want to do, there's something called the Purple Book Search on the FDA's website, and we'll put this link in there. And what you can do is you can search by the name of your current biologic. So we'll use the first one, which is ustekinumab, which is Stelara. And so you would type in Stelara, and it's going to show you the list of biosimilar names and the interchangeable biosimilar if it is available. And it's going to also show. So like what they're going to do, some of you, I think it's just a name switch, right? You're going to say, oh, I have ustekinumab-AUUB. Oh, I got ustekinumab-TTWE. Okay. So you're thinking it's still Stelara, and it's not. So this is, so I mean, essentially it's the biosimilar to it. But so like Wezlana is the interchangeable biosimilar for Stelara. But that ends, they'll say it's ustekinumab-AUUB. That's their name for it.
So it's Stelara, but it's still has a scientific name.
And then there's two biosimilars, which is, I think it's Zykiva and Selarsdi.
Yeah, I think that's how it makes
it. But again, you can search these out on your own, you guys. And those end in different, also have the different like -AEKN and -TTWE. And so that'll be at the end of ustekinumab to show you that it's not ustekinumab, it's a different version and it's similar. And so then I also looked up Entyvio, which is vedolizumab, and they do not have a biosimilar yet. And
Entyvio is safe.
Yeah. And I think that's because the patent, that's one of the newer ones. So that one that's a more recent one. Safe. And well, biosimilars are not always, I mean, it's okay.
No, they're not always bad.
Right. No, it's, I mean, with the prices, the way prices are, I don't see that there's really any other way to go.
I find with biosimilars, but I feel like it's the interchangeable ones that I don't like, because knowing that the provider can just change something up.
But I mean, but it's still the same as a biosimilar, in which in some cases they are effective, but in some cases they're not. But
what if it doesn't affect someone right?
What I don't like with interchangeables, it should be a discussion between you and your doctor.
So you can know what's going on.
And maybe they do notify the doctor. I'm not 100% sure. But as far as I know, the prescriber can take it upon themselves to switch it. I also did a search on Remicade, which is infliximab.
One of the first ones, so that should have a lot.
And that one has biosimilars of Avzola and Flectra.
Luxifit?
Yeah, and Renflexis. So some of you might be on some of those. And I didn't see which ones were interchangeable for that one. I think you just know the biosimilars, but you can also search it. You'll notice too, like they're going to all have the same thing, like infliximab-AXXQ, infliximab-DYYB.
Infliximab-QBTX.
Right. And these are all going to be for the biosimilars. And so you might see, you might think, oh, I'm on infliximab. But if you have a little dash after that, you may be on the biosimilar version. So just that's, an FYI for you guys. And for Humira, adalimumab, I think that's how it's pronounced. I know Humira very well, but
I don't know how to say the name.
They have a biosimilar, several, which is Julio, Idacio, Euflima, Usimri. And they have a lot of interchangeables for Humira.
Oh, wow. So, more.
Abrevada, Amjevita, Siltizo, Halima, Harimos, and Simlandi.
Yeah.
And so those are all interchangeable ones. And again,
so I feel like Humira has the most, unless there's others we don't know about for the other ones.
But I just did a quick search for you guys because I was like, oh, this is a cool tool. So if you want to see what you're on and you're curious, you thought you've been taking something, but it had that little dash after.
Looks like you're not taking what you think.
You might realize you're taking an interchangeable or a biosimilar. And I mean, more than likely you'll know, but it's just good to know. So, and I don't want anyone to panic either, because I feel like if you're like, oh my gosh, it's like
it's dangerous now.
It's still the biosimilars are all FDA approved, but I just think it's extremely important to have conversations with your doctor
and make sure you know.
Yeah, like you're aware of what's going on and you know your options. And so I just think that is really, really important. And so I'm going to put that link up for you guys so you can do your own searches and you can see which one has interchangeables, which one has biosimilars. And or like with Entyvio, which one does not?
It's not yet.
So yeah, not yet. And there's a lot of new ones coming out. They're not going to have biosimilars because they're still patented.
20-year.
Yeah.
Listening of music.
Yeah. So that's basically it. Like I said, it was just kind of a short follow-up to our previous episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if you guys want to comment, let us know about your situation with biosimilars. If you learned anything, that'd be cool. So just say hi. Hope you guys are all doing well. Maybe some of you are going on a really cool vacation.
Oh, yeah. So yeah.
Let us
have fun. I guess are you going to any national parks? And if so, did you get your pass?
Yeah, did you do that? Did it work out for you guys? And we hopefully it's, things change. And I think that's one of the most important lessons with this disease is that, I mean,
we feel on top of the world one day and then, well, there we go the next day.
And we knew, like we talked when we planned the vacation.
If something happens, we can cancel it.
We can cancel it. And I had to call back all the hotels. Well, not call. I was able to use, email and cancel, but I canceled each one. Only Yellowstone would not refund so we lost one night, but no, out of all things considered, we didn't lose a lot, thankfully. But I guess that's, we should do travel tips with this disease. That would be good. Like,
should
take a lesson from us and make sure when you reserve a hotel room, you have the option to cancel.
Cancel it.
Yeah, because we only had one that couldn't be canceled, and all the rest were. And it was a very simple process, and it was a relief.
Don't you do that? No.
Yeah, it was kind of I didn't have a lot of options in West Yellowstone. It was very difficult.
And the one other choice was very expensive. Well, you can stay at the Grand Canyon in the national.
Yeah, we were not going to.
No, we weren't. But you can stay there, and it's not as bad. But you go to Yellowstone, you stay in that hotel room in the actual national park at Yellowstone, and it's like 5 times more expensive.
Well, with an older one, like their very famous one.
Yeah, their very famous one.
Yeah, so
and I mean, you get a view of Old Faithful, so it's worth it, I guess.
Yeah, but that one we were not going to be staying at. We were not going to be even staying in Yellowstone. It was.
We're just going to drive through it.
Yeah, we were going to be staying right outside of it. And, but anyways.
It would have been fun.
Yeah. So the tip, make sure, even if it costs you a little bit more, get the room that you're able to cancel
it. So that way you can get your money back.
Happen. And it's already like devastating enough to have to cancel a trip. Like you don't want to be like, oh my gosh, and I'm out thousands of dollars. And that's really sad. So yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what's going on over here. And but we're going to taking a 2-day getaway. We'll let you guys know after we do that.
Almost a 2-week getaway to a 2-day getaway.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes. But it's much more doable.
Yes.
And then if you are, I hope you're going to be doing okay, but just in case, anything happens.
It already feels like it's kind of getting better. So,
yeah.
But you never know. You never know.
So we're just going to be safe. And, so anyways, you guys can follow along though. We have a lot of cool coming events and a lot of neat things. We are going to be doing something. We're going to be doing another Club 33 visit. So give us a follow on Team IP Determined on Instagram and you guys can see all of that. And also the Reggie Project, which we'd love to see some of you guys participate. Take a picture with Reggie. We have a downloadable version of him that you can print out and take with you to your appointments. We would love to see that.
It'd be cool to take a picture of Reggie at Club 33. I don't know if that'd be possible, but.
Oh, you could. Yeah, you probably could.
Him on the harpsichord.
Yeah, we should probably do that. Yeah, I know they have the harpsichord there. We should do that. That's a good idea. Yeah. And so, it would just be cool to see some of your stories, I guess, and be able to share that on that site. So yeah, the Reggie Project is on Instagram as well. And keep on listening to us on the stations you can find us on, like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts.
And there's more linked to Buzzsprout, which will be in the description with all the others. And then YouTube also has YouTube podcasts now, which is cool. I think that's still getting old, but it's pretty new still. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And then there's normal YouTube videos. So if you want to watch us as well as hear us, you can go to YouTube videos.
Right.
And if you already are, just make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure to hit that bell icon. Yeah. Because subscribing does not notify you every time, and the bell icon does.
Yeah, I know it was kind of quick, but I had wanted to add on to last week's episode and
there wasn't enough time.
Yeah, I wanted to stay focused and then I kind of want to get into this own discussion and also show you the reference where you could search these on the FDA's website and you could check it out yourself. So I thought it was important to follow up and I know it's quick, but hopefully it's still helpful and we'll have hopefully an upcoming fun episode, something a little different off the topic of medication
galas or 3 or
we'll talk about we'll have gone to the Legacy Foundation so next time hopefully we'll have some exciting stories and hope you guys have a good week work day, whatever it is.
School day.
Yep, school.
College.
All that. But thank you guys as always for listening. And we do this for you guys.
We appreciate your support and we read every comment.
So keep the comments coming. Say hello. We'd love to hear from you guys. And until 2 weeks.
See you in the next
we'll see you 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
We'll see you in the next 2 weeks in a new episode.
Yep. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to apply something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.